Hello everybody and welcome to day 22. Today we are doing some makeup doodles, which are some of my favorite, and I'm super excited to teach you how to do these. So we're going to start with the eyeshadow palette, and we're just going to start by drawing a horizontal rectangle, and then we'll add one more to the top for the lid. Make your top rectangle equal to your bottom rectangle. And now we're going to take and we're going to slant the lines on that top rectangle to make it look like the lid is open, so that it kind of has a bit of a curve to it and they're not just two rectangles lying directly on top of each other. Now with the top slanted rectangle that we have, we're going to draw another one inside of it for the mirror. And then in the bottom rectangle, we are going to draw the eyeshadow pans, so we'll just use little squares that are spaced just a very small amount apart, and just draw them all the way across the rectangle, and then we'll make a second row of those down below, and we'll save that very bottom strip for this place where the brush that comes with the eyeshadow palette would go. So to draw this part, we are just going to draw a very long and very skinny rectangle, and then we're going to try to put our brush inside there. If you drew this very small, don't worry too much about all the fine details right here. Just draw the rectangle and maybe a circle on each side with a line connecting them. But if you drew it bigger, you can try to draw your brush inside. So now we'll take our small black pen and we will trace over the outline of our eyeshadow palette, and then we will go in and trace over all the interior lines. Again, if your doodle is very small, make sure that you are using a smaller pen, because this does have a lot of lines that are very close together and little sections that are very small. Once you've traced over all your interior lines, the last step that I'm going to do is I'm going to add these little diagonal lines on the mirror just to give it that idea that it's a reflection there. And then we can erase all of our pencil lines, and then we will move on to the makeup brush. So starting with our pencil, we're just going to draw a vertical rectangle for the handle of the brush. And then at the top, we're going to draw a triangle for the actual brush part, and we will be sure to round out all these lines so that it's not so harsh. So for the handle, we want to add a little bit of a bowed out shape at the top, so just two curved lines along each side, and then we're going to kind of draw the bottom part into this nice little U shape so that it's tapered off at the bottom. And then at the top in the triangle, we want to round out those sharp corners and then add a little bit of a arch along the top so that it looks like it's this big fluffy brush. So we're going to go and we're going to trace the outline of all of our shapes here, and then we will erase all of our pencil lines before going in and adding our last details, which will be some details to the brush handle and the hairs inside the actual brush. For the hairs on the brush, I'm just using my extra small point pen, and then I am drawing lines that go all the way up, and in between them I am drawing shorter lines. For our last doodle, we're going to do a tube of mascara, but we are going to separate it so that we have the top and the bottom portion separately. So first we're going to start with a vertical rectangle for the tube of mascara, and then add a little rectangle on top of that, so that's where the top piece screws in. So then we'll move over and draw the wand of the mascara. So you want to make your rectangle here the same width as the tube, because if they were connected together they would be the same width. And then I drew a little oval coming out the top, or a little rectangle even, and then I added some spirals along the top part of the tube for the part where it screws in. So now we'll just go and we'll trace over all of our lines, and I'm going to trace over these screw-in features first before I trace over the actual little tube part, if that makes sense. And this just helps avoid any overlap that you don't want. So I always draw the part that I want in the most forward-facing first, and then what would be behind it second. So on the wand, we are gonna again just trace over all of our shapes before we go in and we add those bristles that are on the actual wand to make it look like a mascara wand. So now, picking up my extra small pen, I'm just going to draw these very close together horizontal lines on the end of the wand, and some of them are a little bit longer and some of them are a little bit shorter. And then the last step would be to add a label on the front of your mascara tube, and you can decorate it however you want. Please be sure to share your doodles with me on Instagram by tagging me at the Petite Planner and using the hashtag 30daysofdoodles with TPP. That wraps up day 22. I will see you guys tomorrow for day 23.